Hello and welcome. A little different music for a lot of different reasons that don't make any sense tonight. We're back for another episode of Did You Hear Me? As always, or at least so far anyway, Sleezy here. And I'm joined by another great example of men. We've got PackMan. Good to see you.
Hey, good to be back.
And we've got the Sheriff.
Yeah.
And Sheriff, why don't you go ahead and tell us who our special guest is tonight?
The mangevity is strong again. We're keeping the theme. No one under 6 foot allowed in the boom boom room. But we've got a former college teammate of mine, shout out Swoo, and pretty close to lifelong friend at this point, certainly since I moved to the South in the year of our Lord 2007. So we've got a blonde-headed, flowing locks. Shout out female listeners, 6'4" 3.5. He's probably shrinking like we all are, but we've got Big Finch.
All right, that was
Quite the introduction, man.
Good thing we don't pay by the minute for this room. Well, welcome, Big Finch. Glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I've got several questions for you, but first, I know the sheriff was getting a little thirsty over there, so I want you to, they were kind enough to bring the drink of the week. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what we got?
Got a little Woodford Reserve. Easy bourbon to get. Good midweek pour. Probably certainly not a weekend pour, but at least for tonight, it's going to be what we roll with.
There we go. PackMan, are you excited about
Looking
this?
forward to this one so much.
Going straight, drinking it straight.
Drinking it straight. I was offered some cherry Coke and it was quite tempting, but everybody else said they were drinking it straight, so I said, ugh. Okay.
What a change of pace. Waterloo, sparkling water, right to the hard stuff.
That's right. All right, gentlemen, I'll go ahead and I've already got a little pour from the photo shoot that was done by the special agent, so I'll keep that. Do you want to go ahead and pour it up?
Oh, special
A
agent.
little pop, nice little sound.
Yeah.
Give myself just a little swallow.
Yeah.
I'll take a few swallows.
We've got a
Go ahead.
assortment of
Thank you, Pack.
glassware in here tonight.
Hit me one more time.
Hit him one more time.
Oh, man. Real man in here.
That's for
The
Sheriff.
mangevity. Ladies, he's taken, but he's unafraid.
That's good right there. Thank you.
I will say
yeah.
it's chilled. I do enjoy that part of it.
You know what I'm chasing it with.
So for the ones that were listening to this podcast with no visuals, the sheriff currently has in front of him a Arnold Palmer. Went a little smaller, only about 79 ounces tonight.
Instead of the normal 84.
Yeah, he's got a Gatorade blue and a Yoo-Hoo chocolate Yoo-Hoo.
Something else he had. What else did you get? What
For
is
the
this?
ride home. Yeah, shout out Village. That is the Town Creek Distillery.
Bourbon and cherry cola. Man.
Total impulse buy.
That looks
But
pretty
thank you,
good.
Village. Shout out.
Shout out. All right. Here we go. Cheers, gentlemen.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers to Arnie. Pack.
I think this is all the
Sleazy,
real
if you-
glasses that.
If you got the long arm of the law.
There we go. So only actual glasses we own.
What do you think?
Oh, it's delicious.
Oh man, Pack might not make it through this episode.
There's
but we love
There's
it.
your answer.
Yep.
It's good. It's I like it chilled. I've had it before, not a whole lot, but warm. But it's definitely better chilled. I like that.
Thank you.
Keep that in the freezer there, don't you?
Thank you, Big Brain, for putting that in the freezer for us.
There we go. While we're letting that digest, Big Finch, I do want to ask because this was the topic of our very first episode.
Okay.
When you first met the sheriff, well, did he even talk like this?
No.
It's finally
That's right,
been
the
confirmed.
truth.
He did
Finally.
High functioning.
He did not, but we have taken the Yankee out of him in a short amount of time. So he's, in my opinion, he's got his Southern card.
He assimilated.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, well, I'm glad I know Viking Chris is going to be very interested to listen to that dissection.
Oh, he'll be
of-
pleased. The
Yeah.
suspicions will be confirmed for our Nordic friends.
Suspicions no more.
That's right.
That's it.
But so since our last, I hope everybody a little bit different flavor of an episode we had last week with Cocky Yalaman Chili coming on. I hope everybody did enjoy that. I know it was a little bit different of an episode, but I felt it was good important one, especially for those that live locally, and just a different perspective on some things going on. So I hope everybody enjoyed that.
Are you hungry for justice?
That's right.
Get a bowl of chili.
Get some bowl of chili,
But
man.
we do appreciate him coming on last week. We had a good time doing that. But because we did that earlier, it seems like it's been forever since we've gotten together in the boom boom room, as the sheriff likes to remind us.
Absolutely.
So since that last time, we've had 2 Georgia games, and luckily 2-0. I don't know, what's y'all's feelings on it? I know the Florida game kind of put a little exclamation point on that victory, although I don't think Florida's very good at all right now. Yesterday was a little bit more of a struggle, but I don't know. Interested to hear what y'all have to say. I never felt in doubt yesterday, although it was a lot closer than I wanted it to be the whole game.
You want to go first?
I'll go last so I can steal y'all's lines. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I'll say that obviously going to Jacksonville, anything can happen in that game. Big rivalry game. Traditionally, the East is decided on that game. But yeah, we played well. It was good to get Lab back.
I think you could definitely tell his presence was felt.
He's a game changer.
The largest helmet in football. Thank you, Juan.
But getting him healthy is huge. Like I said, he played well, and just getting out of Jacksonville to win is always good. Always good. And like I'm on page with you. I don't think Florida's not the Florida that we're used to, but it's still a division win, and we'll take it.
Always.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick says division wins count as 2. Because you got the head-to-head. Shout out, Bill.
Is he trying to make up the wins this year?
Yeah.
I think this was prior to this year. Sorry.
Okay. All right.
I'm hurt. I'm crying in the corner. 2-6 is not going to cut it.
No, it won't. Y'all were at the game yesterday?
We were.
Big Finch and the sheriff?
We were.
Yeah, we were. And good to be back home. I always love the opportunity to get between the hedges. And Missouri brought in a good football team. We actually watched Kirby's post-game press before we came up here. And, he says it after every game. I call it coaches speak. But
yep.
Another good division win. Another, keep the home streak alive. And listen, Missouri's got a good football team.
They do.
They got athletes on the outside. They ran the ball well. I think, to quote Kirby, they kicked our ass.
Whipped it, yeah.
They did. But, ugly win over a pretty loss any day. And look forward to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that. That's some coaches speak right there from Big Finch. Thank you.
That's right. And, for all those that try to find the negative in everything, another loss against the spread. I was in the land, Cleveland, this past week, where the wagering on sports is not frowned upon. And so I put $20 in at the beginning of the week and played with that all week because they allow you to do dollar bets and stuff. So I stretched my $20 out. Everybody thinks I'm a degenerate putting the mortgage on everything from the way I talk about things. But $20. But I'll tell you what, yesterday Georgia didn't do me any favors.
There goes our podcast budget.
That's it. Yeah. Just trying to get some funds raised so we can get some things done to the boom boom room. But another loss against the spread. But at the end of the day, I think Big Finch was alluding to that. A win's a win, and they keep that ticker on every time I see something about Georgia, especially on game day. It's been we're up to 700 days now without a loss.
Yep.
It's pretty remarkable when you think about it.
Very.
Especially when you look around the country at all the other quote unquote powerhouse teams, and they all struggle from time to time. They all have bad games, and we have our bad games as well. But we've been fortunate enough. Georgia's been fortunate enough to pull those bad games out and play just good enough, or make the play at the right time to pull those victories out.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Bama this year. Bama's not the Bama that we're used to seeing.
Excuse.
They're winning football games, but just not the dominant football team we're used to seeing. Clemson's another great example.
Yep.
They had a really good streak going at home. Obviously, that's been snapped this year, so it's just it's a good time to be a Georgia Bulldog.
Yeah, I think the sheriff really wants to go find Tyler from Spartanburg.
Man, I may know Tyler from Spartanburg.
Trying to get him on the show. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Dabo Sweeney, the coach of Clemson, was on a fan show, as all the coaches do, at the beginning of the week or after their game. And Tyler from Spartanburg called in and called Dabo, asked him why they were paying him $11.5 million to be 4-4. And Dabo was not having it. He, most times coaches are pretty reserved. Dabo let him have it about how Tyler is the problem.
I believe he said that he went Old Testament.
He
on
did.
Tyler, which was, I guess there's a lot of curse words in the Old Testament. He was letting them fly there for a minute. I have been standing next to Dabo for some ball games just because I was a lucky Leo. And he does like the chicken poop curse word, which he did not let it slip to Tyler, but there was some ass, and he was just mad, you could tell. But I do hope, and Sleezy and I talked off air, that we don't take this time in Georgia football history for granted.
No, and we will. So we already have, already complaining this year.
Doing it now.
Yeah. Already complaining.
I'm not.
I didn't say you were, Sheriff. A lot of fans are never happy, never satisfied. 2 back-to-back national championships will never be enough because we won 3, and then if he does a 3-peat,
We won 4.
that's
won
right.
4.
That's right. So Kirby and the Visor better be ready for this ride.
Yep.
That's it.
So, but
Missouri's a good team. Missouri's a very good team. I could see them, certainly they could win out. They would probably be at a New Year's 6 if they do so, and they certainly did whoop Georgia's ass. Run offense, run defense was solid. Shout out to the King who saw that on his and professed his love for Gary Danielson, even though he wasn't a commentator. But yeah, Missouri's big up front. They were running around. They were hitting. They were popping the pads. And like I said, that was the game I expected it to be. So for once.
yeah, I thought Georgia may pull away a little bit more than they did. But again, 9-point win, 2-score win, and Stackhouse.
Yeah, with the pick.
How was that in person? Did the stadium go absolutely
Oh my God.
berserk?
Slow.
Slow?
Yeah, slow.
It was a big man. It was a big play by a big man, though, and the place did come unglued. I could not even hear. The blindside block, which that play is the blindside blocker's dream. So I kind of assumed that was the call.
That's right.
But we know what assuming does, and then somehow Georgia lost the entire football field in yardage, but still a huge play. And yeah, the stadium was, and I think Big Finch alluded to it. I would put Georgia up there in a home game with Bryant Denny, with Nealand, to the general. This is a top 5 toughest place to play in the entire land.
I think under Kirby, it's really become one of those places. Pretty electric, and obviously with the sellouts and the energy around the program that was much needed when he arrived, and then started getting things in order. Has made it a very tough place because it didn't used to be that tough. Didn't have, obviously under the Rick years, if we're allowed to speak about it.
Yeah, winning changes the atmosphere.
It does.
Right.
So
And it sets a standard. To your point, obviously we've all been to, we were all going to games under Rick, and can't say anything bad about Coach Rick, but the difference is easy to tell.
Yep.
And it's when you win a lot of football games, it creates an atmosphere and an environment people want to come watch, and we've been fortunate to see a lot of good football between the hedges the last few years. So
a few more beards, which we know is a direct symptom of killer instinct. Maybe Kirby needs to start growing a beard. Maybe he can get a playoff beard.
Do we think Kirby can grow a beard?
that's a good question.
What?
That's a good question.
I need Pack to chime in on that as a
Drink some of this stuff we're drinking here. Put some
that
hair
old
somewhere.
that old stuff
On your
Yeah,
chest.
so yeah,
On your
put
chest.
some hair on his chest.
I don't know. Big Finch have some underground channels you can get that question to Kirby for.
We can try.
Yeah.
We certainly can try. Shout out to Mr. Pete.
And just let them know. No shame apparently. And just for men, just ask Ryan Day and his fake black beard. Oh, Captain Blackbeard.
I can't believe that guy has not been on a commercial yet.
Yeah.
So
and
it's impressive.
Because it's natural.
Yeah.
it's naturally combed in every other day in the bathroom of the day house.
That's it.
I'll forever hate that beard.
So, I shaved for my Halloween costume last week.
Hope everybody check that out. They haven't. Look on YouTube.
Yeah, check it out on YouTube. You can see Babyface Pat.
PackMan won that costume.
Absolutely.
So,
I don't know if you call it a contest or not, but he rocked it out. If y'all haven't seen it, go check it out.
Check it out. So as my beard is slowly starting to come back in, my daughter sitting next to me on the couch, she said, "Daddy, you got some white stuff growing on your beard." I said, "Baby, that's just gray. That's just gray." I was hoping when I shaved it, it would come back all black like Ryan Day, but
Benjamin Button style.
yeah, but not the case. I think a couple extra grays popped in, so I may hop on that just for men train here before too long.
That's earned though.
Yeah.
Salt and pepper's earned.
Yeah, I like the salt and pepper. Mix the salt and pepper with the extra tendon, and you're on to something for the lady listeners.
If you get that just for men as a sponsor, we'll all do it.
That's right.
it, okay?
Yeah. I'll comb it in for y'all.
I'll color the red. I'll get rid of the soulless ginger.
Well, I am personally excited about next week because one of my favorite characters, I don't think he's a nice guy. I think he's entertaining, but the Lane Train is pulling up into Athens next Saturday, and I can't be more excited.
College
Just for the sound bites.
Game day, night game.
Night
Game day, night game.
7-on-2.
It's going to be bananas.
Yep.
Shout out Scott Bobby.
The Lane Train, though, I think he's going to have something. They interviewed him before or on game day, before his kickoff about LSU and Alabama. He was pretty entertaining with some comments there. So, they'll have him on game day. He'll say some Lane Trains things, and I'm ready for it.
I know.
Going to be a good game, though. They're a good team. Their offense is good. I don't know about their defense, but it's going to be a good game, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you think about how well Kirby and Lane know each other, right, from their days at Bama.
True.
Solid point.
In my opinion, I think Lane Kiffin's one of the best offensive minds in the game right now. Like you got to throw Sarkisian in there, obviously Lincoln Riley, but this game coming into the season is the game that I had circled personally, even though knowing it was going to be at home, just because Lane's so good.
That's right.
He is. You got to give the guy credit. So yeah, looking forward to another SEC matchup between the hedges on a Saturday night.
Yeah, now you talk about home field advantage. That stadium is going to be turned.
Yeah.
As some people may say. Turned.
The young, but we have no business saying
That's
turned.
it. We will not be turned.
But a night game, especially top 10 matchup with the school that we haven't played very much recently. That's always adds some intrigue into it.
Yeah, Kirby and Lane have not played each other. Think about that.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even think about that.
They have not head-to-head coaches as head coaches. They have not played against each other.
Okay.
Insider knowledge there.
There we go. That's why we bring on the big guests to get the good knowledge.
Right.
Big Finch, thank you.
Yeah. And we kind of thought the taller they are, the more information they have. So we found the tallest.
Rarefied air. It's going to be wild. And like I said, I don't know if the PackMan and some of the folks that certainly fund the program might have to set an alarm at halftime to stay awake. But the kids will be fired up, and I can't wait. Like I said, these 3 games, and I can't remember who said it. It was someone on game day. Shout out. These games were supposed to be hot garbage with the entire schedule, and now look at a couple weeks. Everybody keeps winning.
Well, yeah.
Now they're all ranked opponents.
I think looking at the schedule, I knew the back half was going to be good. Obviously, we had to get through that front half for a season ticket holder. Had to be just brutal because I didn't want to watch it on TV half the time.
Yeah.
So, this back half of the schedule, but, not to switch gears too much, but definitely looking forward to the upcoming SEC schedule. However, they're going to figure that out coming up the next, because those are going to be, it's hardly going to be any off weeks.
Yeah.
When you think about adding in Texas and Oklahoma and the way they're going to have to redo division play, it's going to get a lot tougher. So that's why I think Georgia fans need to extra enjoy. Not that Georgia can't compete, because they will, but a lot more landmines in the way coming forward. The 12-team playoff will help get more people into the dance.
Took the words out of my mouth. Yeah, 2 lost teams going to get in, especially if it's a blue blood next year. Sorry. Don't anybody cancel me for getting ahead of myself. But, 4 teams, it just stinks because I think you see like college football was regional, and then you maybe have some big corporations owned by Disney, hint, take over, and it's become more of a coast-to-coast type game where you can kind of follow. I just think any change to college football, again, I'm the old man, get off my grass, especially with baseball or college football. The changes, you can argue it either way to me. And so obviously this year is going to be tough. You got to win every game because it's just 4 teams. Mm-hmm. And how many undefeateds we have, 6 or 7 at least, that all could argue their way into that top 4. And then next year, the schedules are going to get tougher because of conference realignment. But you may have a 2-loss blue blood get in, or if your 3 losses are Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss, you know, that's got to be taken into account too. So that's strength of schedule, strength of record.
Yep. And as a fan, I could be more excited about the conference realignment.
Next year's
games,
nuts.
Just, not even not just the SEC, but the Big Ten. You know, it's going to be matchups.
Is there anything other than the SEC and Big Ten after this year? I mean,
you still got
good point, Pac.
The Big 12, I think.
The Pac-2.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And how crazy is it? The Big Ten's going to keep their name, obviously, for branding purposes and all that. But they've got about 37 teams in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and the ACC has got Cal and
that's right, Stanford.
A bunch of West Coast teams.
Makes zero sense.
It's now just the Coastal Conference, maybe. Yeah. But I don't like Georgia's schedule's wild. At Austin, they're in T-Town, Tuscaloosa. Like I said, I want to play the tough teams because at the end of the year, it has to pay off. All that adversity. Yeah, people are going to get dinged up. It happened yesterday with Dumas Johnson, losing him. So, but the team as a whole, I think, kind of gets galvanized. Don't ask me to spell that word, but
yeah, I think it's good. I think it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm fired up,
especially after suffering through September of 23 with the schedule that we had.
From here on out, I think it's going to get very interesting.
There it is,
including a game in Atlanta, hopefully.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I was in Cleveland this past week, and yesterday got the pleasure of meeting Big Dave and his lovely wife, the Steph Monster. Her own name. I didn't give it to her. But we had a good conversation. He was there from Lake Erie, Pennsylvania, in town to see his beloved Browns that were going to play today. And we had the conversation that PackMan and I have had before off air about how they treat NFL as we treat college down here.
100%, yeah.
So we had that conversation, and he essentially agreed, although he is a big college football fan. He has some ties to the South, but he is a college football fan, but he's all in on the Browns, and we've had this conversation too. It's just how y'all grew up. I mean,
I mean, of course, you know, I followed the Badgers because they were on. You know what I mean? But I wasn't diehard like I was with Green Bay, with the Packers, and still am. Shout out to the Packers getting a win after a
much needed
win after a 4-game slide. But you know, it doesn't hurt that Matt Stafford was hurt and they were playing like a 3rd-string quarterback and whose offense is
can't choose your competition.
About as pathetic as our offense. But hey, we got the win nonetheless.
They don't have their 2nd stringer, but
we're
just giving the benefit of the doubt on that.
That's right.
We love you, Stat.
Yeah. But when we were leaving today, all the Browns fans were in, a lot of tailgating going on. So it was a cool scene to see.
Yeah.
To witness there. Cleveland, underrated town, I'll say. I didn't have high expectations.
Did you visit LeBron James's school that he built?
I tried to. I got one of the students to give me directions, and it was the opposite way because they don't
learn anything.
They don't know the directions, and it was misspelled as well.
Oh man!
Can I buy a bottle?
So I did not do that. We did see the largest stamp in the world. I know. Got my picture with that. And,
this is a Just for Men sponsored vacation over there. And, you were in bed by 7 every night.
Yeah, and got to see Progressive Field and Cleveland Browns Stadium.
That's
and
cool.
whatever they call the Cavs Arena.
That's cool.
But a cool town on the lake. Very easy to get around. Public transportation's good. Cleaner than I thought it was going to be. I know that sounds bad, but it was clean city. Good time. Easy to get around. So I recommend if you get a chance, check it out.
Love those blue collar Midwestern cities.
That's a good description of it. Very blue collar. A lot of industrial things going on around there.
We got to shout out the mayor on that picture you sent me. I guess it was, what was it, Warrensville Heights?
Warrensville Heights is where I stayed for the first part of the week and got to see my first ever October snow.
Yeah.
Not a
Wow.
fan.
Yeah, nope. Neither was I. That's why I live down here.
Yeah, I have lived that life. Thank you, Pack. That
Yep.
is
Back before the accent, he lived that life.
Yeah, that's right.
when I sounded more like Matt Damon than with my high functioning autism. But yeah, shout out Brandon, who's the mayor.
Of
I slipped in a
Warrensburg.
little.
Send him a picture of the sign to prove where I was.
Slipped in a little "Let's go Brandon" on you, but that fell on deaf ears.
There we go. So I do want to ask, since we have Big Finch here, and y'all were college teammates, is that correct?
That's correct.
Man, give us some back in the day. What is it? Just baseball, food, and women? Is that what it was?
Well, more like
There's a lot of that.
baseball, beer, and women.
There you go.
A little bit more accurate.
Women was probably shout out to Pops Turner had me thinking that there'd be little Turners rolling around if I made some ill decisions. So that's probably a good order.
As you have proven. in your,
Yes,
in
he
your
knew
life.
me. He knows me well.
Yeah.
Give a shout out to your university. That's fine.
Yeah, Southern Wesleyan, Central South Carolina, right down the road from Clemson. I grew up in Easley, which was right down the road from SWU. Obviously, he comes down from Boston. But it was a guy I grew up playing with through high school and some summer travel ball. We roomed together my freshman year. And, we came in as true freshmen. He was a senior. Damn good ball player, by the way. Give you credit.
Hey.
I am old. Just listeners just need to listen to I'm old.
But yeah, we college was fun, man. I had a good time playing with this guy. Like I said, a really good ball player. Worked hard, and had an opportunity to hang out with the Boston Red Sox. But
Yeah.
love of Southern woman or love of the game, he chose.
Big brain.
He chose the,
Big brain
the Southern
wins.
woman. So yeah, college was fun, man. It was I was lucky to get to play with this guy.
Big Brain will not be a listener this week because I am below the doghouse. I'm not even
man,
in. But
what now?
I don't know,
Yeah.
which was going to lead me to a question later on. But
Got it.
Okay.
Big Finch is too kind. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, a small school. I think it's about 1,000 undergrad now.
Yeah.
It was maybe 700 at that time. So obviously, athletes, pretty much northeastern or midwestern athletes, were the only people there on campus over the weekend, and the food wasn't great. I hope it's better now, but like I said, it was really cool to grind with Jeffrey. Jeffrey became a pitcher because he's humongous. But
Yeah, a lot of
he-
leverage there.
Late bloomer.
Yeah.
Late bloomer.
yeah, he was a late bloomer. I'd like to put a ball in his hand now and let him toe the slab, but he was a bullpen catcher my freshman year, his freshman year, excuse me, my senior year.
Yeah.
And he's the only reason I can walk, because I think we talked about that in an earlier episode, but other than about 3 innings at King College in Tennessee, I caught all 50 games.
Man, it's
Catcher.
the backbone of the team.
Hind catcher for anybody. Shout out to the King that may take that a different direction, but no. I told the story off air to Mr. Luker. Shout out Mr. Luker that Jeffrey might have been doing his best Cheech and Chong impression in the freshman dorms. I think the statute of limitations is out, but
think
they
so.
had I think you might be an expert in this field as well as Pack. They had a damp towel, emphasis on damp, to soak in the smoke at the crack, the bottom crack of the door. They were thinking they were pretty slick, and I banged on the door. I have huge Fred Flintstone hands. I don't think I was trying to be like the special agent, but maybe it come across that I was the special agent, and so there was some brown stains on Mr. Wyatt, who was Jeffrey's roommate, and Jeffrey, thinking that maybe they had been found out, and then it was just me, but there was a lot of pinpoint eyeballs and John Madden football going on.
Yeah, it was I think we were watching Step Brothers.
There may have been multiple occasions as well. I don't want to put Big Finch out there, but
A long time ago. Like
we
you said.
all gotta relax from time to time.
Yeah, I was 17, obviously young and dumb, freshman in college.
Might be
but,
young and smart at this point.
Yeah, so put Step Brothers on and cleaned out every hot pocket that Walmart had, and this guy's funny that he he does what he does now for a living. But I was trying to find my way out of a third floor window.
When the knock came.
Yeah, because that was, in my mind, a better alternative than what was on the other side of the door. So, yeah, not one of my better moments, but definitely something to look back on.
Well,
and laugh
and
about
I
now.
think, I don't want to cut off Big Finch, but I think anybody, and even Coach Saban has said this, anybody that retires from a major sport, that's what you miss is the
weed smoking in the dorm room.
Yeah. Well, again,
Part of it.
statute of limitations is up on that misdemeanor, because it was not 12 pounds. Just to clarify for the listeners, but it was hanging out with the guys and the grind, and like I said, this was a small school. This was NAIA, which I was told stands for not at all interested in academics, to kind of piggyback on your comment about LeBron's school, which is obviously a high school, but same idea in the college ranks. But it was still Division I. We played against several guys that, had a chance at pro ball or had a cup of coffee in the major league. So it was high level of competition, but still a Christian school where your girlfriend had to wear a hoodie and sneak in at 1:30 in the morning. So it was just a cool experience. And like I said, I'm just really flattered to still have any friends from that moment where I had a Matt Damon accent and didn't know my butt from a hole in the ground. But Big Finch is still here.
He's still here. And
Still here.
glad to have him. And glad he can confirm for Viking Chris the whole accent thing.
It's fake.
Yeah. Well, PackMan, want to open up those questions that we got? We
that's
did
right.
not get to very many of them
Thank
last
you,
week.
Pack, for your patience.
So I think we want to dive on into these. There's some pretty good ones in there.
There's a bunch of good ones. Yeah, we didn't get to them last episode, so we'll try to get through all of them. There's a bunch. Again, thank y'all for listening and sending in those questions. We'll start with this one comes from MK Ultra, as Viking Chris called her.
There we go.
She wants to know what traits you got from your children, or what traits your children got
I'm
from
about
you.
to say, man.
Yeah.
Learning from the kids.
Yeah.
What
go
traits
ahead.
they got from
Yeah.
me? Hopefully the best that I have, because I don't have very many good traits. So my oldest got kind of the laid back vibe.
Right?
Trying to let too many things bother me. So I think she got that. And my youngest, unfortunately, she got.
Did not get the tattoo on the arm.
That's another story.
Another episode.
She ended up with the physical traits. She's a very beautiful girl, but physical traits from me more than she did the other attributes.
Did you just call yourself beautiful?
What I'm trying to say,
yeah.
what I was trying to say is, she definitely does not look like me, but she has my traits, and she's very beautiful. Because I am not very beautiful. So.
No, you are. You
Thank
and the
you,
special
Sheriff.
agent are beautiful.
Thank you, Sheriff.
All right, Sheriff. What about you? You got
Yeah, we might need
lots.
another
Yeah, I was
episode.
just gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Obviously, I was at the game thanks to Big Finch, and my oldest was with me, and he is like a mini me. So he's high.
description.
He's high functioning. He's a lot of attention deficit. His accent is real because he was born in the South. But yeah, he's kind of a mini me. Again, he has his own personality. I don't want to underscore that. And he's way smarter than I ever thought about being. The twins, I'll make this snappy because I've talked too much. Emmeline's very maternal. She may get that from me because I want to say that I don't like kids, but that's kind of a sleight of hand trick because Pack and I, we love. If anybody needs anybody to take care of a child, Pack and I are for the job. And Pack might be better than me, certainly with the infant care.
Oh
But
yeah, I love babies.
I don't want to admit that I like kids, but I certainly do, and I'm trying to say this without getting canceled. But anyway, Knox is a true lefty, so he doesn't get that from me. Maybe he gets that from his uncle. And then the baby's just tough as nails. And I like to think I'm tough.
Guys that are juicing and not getting caught
Yeah.
is far greater
Yes.
than the number of guys that are juicing and getting caught.
I agree.
So, the majority of the guys are doing it, and it's just a part of it. And I think that applies to, football.
Was that
Obviously.
the swoo culture back in the day?
No, we didn't. We couldn't afford it.
Maybe,
we couldn't afford it.
Full disclosure, maybe prior to Big Finch's arrival.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we had one.
We had some guys that could bash the baseball
South
and were
Alabama.
very
The
large.
South Alabama transfer.
Maybe if they weren't
I'm not gonna name him,
dampening the towels in the dorm room, they could have put that
you
money
gotta-
to.
Yeah, I
to
couldn't afford any D-ball because I was spending all my money on the G-ball.
Yeah, shout out to the D-ball. Yeah, I don't, and I would say our Leo culture is pretty similar. Like everybody wants an edge. That's just society is competitive. And just to close the book on this, it's not a morality Hall of Fame. Mickey Mantle, I love Mickey Mantle. Mickey Mantle was a drunk, playing the game drunk, like
Babe
a beer
Ruth.
league softball
Babe
player.
Ruth.
Yep.
Yeah, Babe Ruth was not a nutritional savant. Just to say, like I said, it's not. If you had set the precedent that somebody has to be Billy Graham to get into the Hall of Fame, sure, but that precedent was never set.
Yes.
And I think Lee brings up a good point, is the only people that maybe get it right as far as voting goes, to me, this is just my opinion, is the Heisman, because it's like, hey, the man in the arena, or woman, if this is female sports, they've been there, done that. They understand all the struggles, the grind, whatever, and they understand everything it entails, and then they can really digest, okay, this guy, like I said, Pete Rose is a travesty. My dad, when I was a child, my dad, we wouldn't even go to a baseball game on Sunday because we were going to be in church, still told me, even after all the betting stuff, if you want to play the game, play it this way.
Yeah.
And then he put on tape
Yeah.
of Charlie Hustle, as he's lovingly called Pete Rose. Like, that guy could have bet every house in Clark County on a game, and he, to Finch's point, still would have played it the same way because he loved the game. And to have a guy like that not in, he's in the Reds Hall of Fame. He's very involved with the Reds now after years of kind of similar going back and forth. It's like, if you're not going to put him in, who else are you going to put in?
Yeah, it's just so uneven. I think that's the bottom line. I think they.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree with Craig's point that, like, there are probably some really bad people in the Hall of Fame that did a lot worse things than, try to get a...
Georgia's own Ty
advantage.
Cobb sharpening his spikes, like,
Yeah.
but he played the game
Right.
like any of us would want our kids to play it.
Yep.
Yeah.
With reckless abandon. So that's an awesome question,
that's a
by
That's
the
a
way.
good one.
Yeah, we could sit here.
hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good question. Shout
right.
out CNN.
All right. I'm going to combine two. There's a couple weird fighting questions. I don't know what these people think. So one of them is from, what'd you call him? Quiet Kyle.
Yeah, Quiet Kyle.
Quiet Kyle
shout
and again, Computer Nerd Nick. So they both asked similar enough questions. Computer Nerd Nick wants to know, what would you rather fight? 100 duck-sized horses or 10 horse-sized ducks? And then Quiet Kyle said, how many third graders do you think you could fight at once? So,
Oh God, that's specifically
what
tailored
were
to
the
me.
100 ducks?
Let's see. 100 duck-sized horses or 10 horse-sized ducks?
I've seen some mean ducks, man. I'm not getting bigger ducks. I've seen some that'll chase you.
100 of them?
I would have to take
No, I'm saying
the
10.
small ducks.
No, the small horses, right?
Yeah, 100 duck-sized horses. So you'd be doing...
You're just punting horses?
Yeah.
That's all you're doing, just punting them.
How much Woodford Reserve have we had so far? That's what this
more than
question
I
is.
wanted.
But if you get a duck the size of a horse, that beak could do some damage.
Yeah.
So I'm not about that. I'll punt horses.
What was the
Yeah.
what was the third grader question?
How many third graders? How many at once? I could take, man,
Bring
a
on-
whole class. Bring the whole school of third graders.
Bring the school district.
Yeah.
Third grade. Bring all of them. Bring them.
Do you want that?
Yeah, you
Some
got
of them have beards.
Plays out. I think the question to ask is, who's going to handle it?
Yeah, all right.
Because I think, the two logical options are the Big Ten.
Right.
It's the conference itself going to handle it, because now at this point you got all these other coaches raising hell.
Right.
You know, so is the Big Ten going to step in and handle it, or is it going to get to a point where the NCAA, as a body, steps in and hands down some kind of, you know, whatever? Is it going to be the traditional, you know, we're going to take some schollies, you know, you're not going to be able to play in a couple bowl games.
It's going to take forever.
Yeah, and it's going to take time.
So, Big Finch, your ties to, you know, things that may be known or not known, this has got to be going on everywhere, right? There's no way, no other schools.
Good question.
The sign stealing?
In the Power Conference, in SEC, Big Ten, are not doing this on some form.
They're just not having the dude use his own name to buy the tickets from like StubHub.
There's no way that's not happening.
I have not seen or heard anything that would make me think that Georgia is doing that.
Okay, fair enough. But do you think Tennessee?
Just surmise.
Yeah.
Don't be a homer. Just be a.
You know, I'm the most realistic
individual.
Georgia fan you've ever met.
He is like a German Shepherd, high socio-intelligence.
What a comparison. Compliment.
I think it would be safe to say that every program's doing everything they can to get an edge.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just
take that for what it's worth.
It got to a silly notion when Connor Stallions is dressing up on the other team's sideline
Yes,
as a coach.
yes.
You know, it got to almost a comedic level of espionage.
Right.
Yeah.
And sloppy too, if you're trying.
Yeah.
Because I think
the
the only thing they actually did wrong, right, is that an actual coach
Yes.
was involved in the pre-scouting.
Someone
it's
who
pre-
makes,
it's pre-scouting. It's not even the scouting.
yeah.
It's because they went to the other stadiums and didn't just do film or whatever they do, the gentlemanly thing.
They say he makes $55K a year and he spends like tens of thousands on these tickets, and it's just like, come on, man.
Yeah.
He ain't making $55K.
Well,
man.
right.
Come on.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
His advertised salary, I guess, is $55K. I read somewhere.
But he's prior military and
Yeah, he was
gotta
Army.
be
Ex
some
Army,
kind.
right?
Yeah. It has to be that.
Some kind of recon.
The man of the streets, though, not
Guess they
cooperating.
picked the right guy.
Not cooperating with the school's investigation.
Resigned?
Yeah, he resigned.
He said his mom didn't raise a snitch.
Is there?
My man, man, I love this guy. Sign him up.
Pack's just out here trying to survive.
Yeah, that's
Remember,
it.
harking back to our traffic stop.
That's right. But interesting story. It's just like a car wreck. We just keep watching.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, I'm gonna watch.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely gonna watch, and I think I don't want to rule out Big Finch. Huge live PD fan. Hopefully that show comes
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We don't catch the smart ones.
No.
I'll just say it like that.
Because I'm not a smart. We're not smart ones. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that outsmart us all
Yeah,
the time.
Mr. Connor has offered himself up on the sacrificial altar for maybe, to your point, a lot of blue blood programs, or maybe one in Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna keep watching this.
And again, change your signs. How are you using the same signs 4 weeks in a row?
Right.
Going into your rivalry game.
Right. Yeah.
One of the coaches said this is an execution issue. Like, I feel like Georgia, as much as people want to, hey, Mike Bobo is the devil and all this crap, like, I can tell you what's coming. You still got to be able to stop it.
Defend it.
Yeah. I mean, the one interesting thing, everybody's breaking down all the game clips now, was last year's Ohio State-Michigan game, where, Ohio State was driving and young Connor.
Is so good, dude.
Young Connor came up to the defensive coordinator and said, "Run right." That was the play that was going to come, and so they stacked to the right and were able to stop the play. So I think if you have the foresight for a play of that nature, you can set your defense. But you're right; you still have to execute.
Yeah, I mean, still, you could put me to bring it back to base. You could put me in a batter's box and tell me, hey, he's going to throw 95 right there on the outside corner, right at your knees.
I'm not going to hit it.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you still got to execute. And like I said, I mean, I almost feel like you should have somebody doing that.
Yeah, why
You
not?
know what I
If
mean?
you're doing the same sign,
Yeah.
you're being lazy.
Yeah.
But edit me out here, Lee, but how good of a bullshitter is this guy? Because he had to think at some point, like, I'm Miss Cleo, shout out to back in the day with the whatever the infomercials, 1-900 numbers, with the whispering voice. But, like, he must have thought And to me, like all these good coaches, even Saban is like, oh God, I went with my gut, and I'm like, it's almost like I'm, clairvoyant, and he, like you said, run right, and then all of a sudden it happens. This guy's probably like, let me pinch myself. This is a dream. Like, what else can I get away with type deal?
Yeah. I mean, it's super interesting. We'll see what comes out of it.
And it's not just college football. Like,
No,
I think we can all say this is everyday life. Whether it be college football,
it happened in baseball.
Yeah,
Your team
baseball,
Spygate, or what was it?
It was like yes, the Red Sox were. Nothing was ever established, but there was.
Talking about
what about the Patriots?
Spygate. Yes,
Spygate.
There was
a lot of gates up there in New England.
Yeah, Deflategate.
Deflategate, which is a scientific phenomenon. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the
tarnished,
the national,
the
natural gas law. I'll let our listeners do some research on that. That the balls might have been losing pressure. Sorry, footballs.
Air displacement.
Just only the ones that are coming out.
But this is
out of the Patriots locker room.
And Spygates was the Jets. But I think a common theme here is a team that is winning, that is cheating, is developing rivals, and then maybe the rivals are upset because of the other teams winning. Like, I don't think Georgia's immune to this. If there are back-to-back national champions, I think whether it be the extracurricular activities of the team or like America as a whole is
we're already seeing
right. They're building you up just to tear you down.
Well, you heard Bob Stoops.
Bob,
we bought a lot of good players.
That's right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
and I need to raise my hand and set the record clear. Bob Vila is still alive.
You killed him off last
Yes,
time.
I killed him. Bob Ross, I have confirmed. I don't know if I can confirm. I don't have that kind of staying power. Bob Ross is R.I.P. Bob Vila is healthy and 77 years of age.
Brought him back to life. Lazarus.
And I missed the Georgia score with Missouri last year by 1 point.
Okay.
Sorry, I got to tell on myself.
I think the bottom line is this: if you're not winning, nobody cares.
Correct.
Yes.
If you are winning,
Good point.
then people are trying to figure out why you're winning.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Because they want to win.
Yeah, and you look at the games that Michigan's lost over the past couple of years. They've lost 2.
Mm-hmm.
Who were they?
The TCU.
Okay.
And the other one.
Georgia.
No. Okay.
Orange Bowl.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, Orange Bowl.
Good point.
2020.
I'll have to raise my hand again. I think it was 33-11. It was bad.
Yeah.
Well, 34-11. Excuse me.
Right.
Yeah, back to what you asked me earlier. If I thought that was happening here, I don't think Harbaugh is dialed in enough down to every single detail. And I can tell you this: Kirby Smart just misses nothing.
Right.
He misses absolutely nothing. He dots every I, he crosses every T. And I think if he knew, and I'm not saying that Jim Harbaugh knew, maybe did, maybe didn't. I would probably lean more towards the fact that he did not, because I just don't think that he's that involved.
Yeah.
Which he should be, as the coach with the money he's making.
Yeah, I might disagree with you there.
I think if Kirby knew that was going on here, he would screw somebody to the freaking wall.
Okay.
I really do think that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
or at least get rid of it before it got to this
before
point.
it got out. Before it got out.
You would hope that. So the black eye that is put on Michigan already, you would hope, because at the end of the day, what is the advantage that you gain from that?
Mm-hmm.
Is it season changing? Is it game changing every time?
I want him to be in the Natty now just because
Yeah, I know, me
it's
too.
amazing.
I want them so bad.
Yeah.
I want Michigan so bad.
But now, now they can't do anything without it's kind of like the Astros 5 years later, 6 years later,
Right.
still cheaters and all.
You look at Southern Cal, and Reggie Bush, and they go back and they took his Heisman.
Yeah, vacate.
Yeah, they
trophies
vacate.
and stuff.
Yeah, and what does that? What
Well,
purpose
that's legal
does that serve
now in the NIL.
They also purged it from your memory. It didn't have
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like Men in Black.
That's right.
Yeah.
With the pens.
They made the announcement and
Yeah.
zapped everybody.
Nobody remembers how dominant that Southern Cal team was.
Right.
So like I said, it'll boil down to who handles it, whether it's the conference or the NCAA. and we just got to wait it out and see what happens.
It'll be interesting.
I
We're
think
watching.
We're living in a world where the NCAA is gone. I think the conference has become
They're on the way out.
football conference, and I don't want to. I think this is a future CNN question. Shout out CNN, or Lee is high functioning, damn near extraterrestrial on where he stays intelligence wise. I think college football is gonna be ever changing.
It is.
Yeah.
And the NCAA clearly, who was the
Well,
kid from North Carolina that was the wide
Yeah,
receiver?
Tez Walker.
Tez Walker.
Tez Walker.
Cousin Walker.
Yeah.
Cousin to Sleazy.
That's right.
They just said put him out there. Because
Yeah.
what's the NCAA going to do? And shout out Mac Brown for having some integrity. He was like, well, we'll wait on it, but we want to put this kid out there.
They've been their own worst enemy over the past couple decades, and don't know if you saw they're going to have to appeal it, but they lost a big court case as far as compensation goes to athletes. They just this past week got another L, but they're going to potentially have to go back and pay back money
This is wild.
compared
Yeah,
for their
they do.
TV deals that they've been raking in. But they just were so greedy over the years.
They have the money.
Yes, and
There's
they
no
just
doubt
didn't want to
about that.
share, and
Yeah.
they kept beating everybody with the student athlete moniker over and over again.
Yep.
As they kept getting richer and richer. So they're paying for it now, and then these schools are so powerful now they don't need the NCAA anymore.
No.
Yeah, that was where I was going.
Yeah. Whereas before they had a lot of value back way before all these
Right.
big deals started happening. Now they don't need the NCAA.
There's no longer any leverage.
No, and
They
it's
have no leverage.
not to keep this point going and going, but
Keep it.
the NCAA gets involved. The most recent one that got concluded was the basketball scandal, where the basically the coaches were getting money. I can't remember all the details for the case, but it was a federal case, a wiretap case, and the schools that were involved.
Is this the Rick Pitino? Was this?
No, it was the. Probably should have brought it up without the
I'm trying to
details.
remember. I remember all the
The point
interviews.
of it. The
You
point
had
of
me
it
at
was-
wiretap.
The point of it was Arizona self-imposed postseason bans working. I think it was Arizona. Might have been Oklahoma State. I don't know. A school took the deal, trying to be the good guy and help the NCAA out, and the other schools gave them the middle finger and thumbed their nose up and said, "Let us know when you find out." And they didn't find out anything, and they get no punishments. And that school, their students had to suffer for that. So
Yep.
that was my whole point. Is NCAA has been so
little-
inefficient.
Yeah.
Little tease with the illegal cheeseburger may have started all this stuff because unless you're on there, like I said, this is my opinion. Cancel me if you want. The NCAA, unless you're on their radar and they have some axe to grind with you, they are not serving a purpose at this point.
Correct. Yeah. So that was really good. Went kind of long last week, and we're going to that direction now. So I think we're going to go ahead and wind it down for the evening. But good conversation tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was some good questions from the listeners. We appreciate that.
No text threat of integrity,
Oh,
selfishly.
you can mention it because I know you're proud.
I'm very proud. I don't know
I,
what my record is, but that's not very integral of me.
Yeah. I did not have a good day of integrity yesterday.
Neither did I.
With the lane train pushing, Georgia not covering. I did call though the Battle of the Gamecocks.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Jacksonville State did.
Yes.
South Carolina is just having a miserable season.
That was a degenerate. That was a borderline Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
Are you sleeping in the casino type pick? But it worked.
Yeah, but that was the only look I
Yeah,
had.
the Gamecock Bowl. I got to give a shout out to Sleazy for the Gamecock Bowl. I didn't even know that was happening, and he picked it. The sheriff did well, but we'll shine the light on Big Finch. He was a homer and said Missouri's grave was dug, but they must have brought some shovels to Athens. He did pick the push with Old Piss. Shout out to our former teammate Guy Howard, a man that's been a high school baseball coach all over the Southeast. Took an L on LSU outright.
Oh, that was bad. That was
Yeah.
bad.
I did want to. I want to go into Pack's picks, but then Big Finch here. I don't want to shout him out with our listeners, but I hope some listeners are the same as him. Shout out to Pack. picked the Bedlam.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Nate
sorry.
Diggity Dog is mad.
He's
Nate
mad
Blue.
at me. That's the only one I got too, I think.
Yeah.
If you could give someone, this is to Sleezy and Pack, because I know y'all are fellow degenerates. I am degenerates with someone else's money, and I will bullcrap them into spending their money. Can you give us a very short rundown of sports gambling? Because Big Finch was picking these teams outright as just a win-loss versus
Spread.
against the spread, money line. Like to me, it's like a Wolf of Wall Street. The stock exchange to me is exactly like sports gambling if it's explained. Because these are two gentlemen that explained it to me.
Go ahead, Pack, if you want. I can summarize it.
Is it like the roulette wheel? Put it on red.
No, the smartest guys in America are the guys in Vegas that make these lines, because it never ceases to amaze me how
Right they are.
and how they obviously keep building bigger buildings in Vegas, because just a quick rundown. So basically, they try to even out the betting is what they try to do, because obviously nobody would have picked. I was going to say nobody. A lot of people would not have picked Missouri to beat UGA. However, you give Missouri 15.5 points to start out with against UGA, and so you add that 15.5 points to whatever score they have, and that's the score you're betting on.
So Georgia essentially has to beat them by 16.
Correct.
To cover.
To
Yes.
cover
the spread.
and
Yes.
to win that bet. And so that's what we're betting on, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about lines. We're talking about that. But as the rabbit hole I went down in Ohio this past week, you can bet on, Kevin Durant scoring less than 31 points, winner right here. Less than 31
A
points in the
degenerate?
game.
Yeah.
You can bet on anything, and they'll let you,
Yes.
because they'll take your money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Super Bowl's always fun time
Yeah.
because you're betting. You can bet on coin flip.
Yes.
You can literally bet on anything.
Anything
Yes.
that happens during the Super Bowl
That's
is
correct.
a bet, and it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
that would be why I would encourage our listeners to go to Vegas, is just walk into I would walk into a clean casino that doesn't have anybody wearing pasties maybe outside of it. But just to
exist.
see,
Yeah.
they exist in Vegas somehow. But anyway, that's a topic for another podcast. But my comparison, and I'm going to shout out Pack and Sleezy, because I understood sports. I maybe didn't understand how to be a degenerate. They have taught me how maybe later on in life, when I have a fixed income, that I can mix being a degenerate and a sports fan. Let me try it again with my fake accent. Degenerate and a sports fan. It's almost like recess.
Yeah.
Like if I had a huge 6'4" third grader on my team, then I would give you 10 points.
That's right.
And then I had to beat you by that
That's
plus 10.
That's exactly what it is.
So that is essentially, with all their fountains and flowers and marble floors.
Yeah, but they're very good at it. They're very good at setting everything to entice you on one side or the
with
other.
the artificial intelligence going to take over the world, and models and everything else. So,
Well,
I had a good week. We'll just leave
that's
it at
good.
that.
I'm glad you did. You did have a good week. I'm not trying to cut you off, but we are.
No, cut me off.
We're about to expire our time limit. Our parking meter is about to.
Well,
about to go in the
I
room.
want to say real quick, man. It's in regards to y'all's jobs. I know we got two guys on here that are current law enforcement, one former. But real quick, man, I just want to say I have a lot of respect for you guys and what y'all do for a living. I would say in the past couple of years, y'all's job has probably become one of the hardest jobs in the country. So the courage and the sacrifice it takes for y'all to put the uniform on every day and do the job the right way. I admire you guys a lot and what y'all do, and very, very grateful for the job that y'all do and the way that y'all do it. So
appreciate
y'all having me.
You ever need a job, you've got the frame for it.
He's just got the look. He's got the D-ball too.
Yeah.
You stop a lot of people from doing things before they even started.
That's it.
But I do appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thanks for coming on, and thanks for bringing some of that Woodford dessert. It was pretty good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, pretty good.
PackMan loved it.
No, I'm good.
He said a weekday.
I'm bringing
bit left.
tequila.
Got a little bit
Tequila
left.
next week. Listeners, tell me what tequila to bring. 'Cause,
Yeah, there we go. And it might make your clothes fall off. He did say weekday pour.
Yeah.
Big Finch does work for one of our foreign auto outfitters, and so maybe that's why he's saying, as a LEO, this is an anytime poll.
I got you. Hey, work whenever you can.
Well, if y'all bring me on again, I will. I'll make sure to bring some Weller or some EH Taylor.
Okay. I know some fans out there.
Maybe
Bob the Motor Cop will be excited to hear
Maybe
that.
some Blands.
Blanton's, oh my God.
I've heard of that one.
Yep.
So,
But,
He's heard of it.
but we do appreciate you coming on. I want to tell all the listeners, PackMan's got on one of the new shirts, the Handsy Not Handy shirt. We got it in red also. It looks really good in black. Special Agent got one in red. And then we do have some logo shirts. We're trying to get some funds to, who knows, maybe make this room a little less boom boom.
Spice up the boom
A
boom.
little bit more podcasty.
It sounds better. The mattresses are working.
So, yeah, the other side of the camera is rough. But check us out on YouTube. Check us out always. Hopefully have some stuff on Instagram. But if you want a shirt, just reach out to one of us and we'll be sure to get it to you. They're $18. Cash, Venmo, however you want to do it.
18.
However you want to do it.
Yeah.
18 for everyone but our number one fan, OCL.
Yeah.
Oh, we got some 1A, 1B, 1C. Everyone's a number one fan.
We got a lot of fans out there. We do appreciate it. But so that's about it. We'll be back next week. Hopefully the lane train, the tracks go a little short. He doesn't finish what he's aiming to do. If Georgia comes out with a victory, I really do hope so.
Where did that open up at, by the way, since we're talking
I'm falling on
I
my
think
job.
I think it's 2 scores.
2 scores.
I think so.
Okay.
Let me.
I don't see the exact
I
number.
am so
but-
sorry, Pack. I'm falling down on my job.
You failed us. Absolutely failed us.
Sorry, I know it's time to go. I know we're
Talking
long-winded.
11 and a half is what it's at.
11 and a half.
11 and a half.
Georgia
Ooh.
as the favorites.
Well, we know that's going to come down.
Ooh. At that, I'm sorry. I'm going Ole
being
Miss.
contrarian.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah.
Everybody chew on that one over the week. But
Pack's trying to give y'all a heads up that it's
Yeah.
going to be less than 10.
I'll take
All right.
a 3-point win.
I'll
Yeah.
take a 1 point.
Yep.
We'll take
Yep.
it. But
Finch
all right.
nailed it.
We'll holler at you next week. Holler
Yeah.
us about some shirts. Check us out on the YouTube.
Let's take an ugly win over a
Pretty loss.
beautiful loss.
That's right. So,
Play us out.
all right. We'll see you. Man, the music. Wonderful.
Man.
All right. We're out.
Oh, that's fun.
Man.
So,
those
that's
are
always so fun. Man.
Not
That's
the-
a blast.
Those are some good questions tonight, man.
CNN was killing.
That was good. That whole thing we could go on.
56
Oh,
and a
man,
half.
we could have a whole
Dude.
episode
Yeah.
about the Hall of Fame.
56 and a hook.
Yeah.
They're going to be scoring. I think they're going to be scoring points like mad. I forgot to shout out old Donnie, but we'll save that for next week.
I think you could apply like what y'all were talking about as far as like stealing signs and knowing what
Yeah.
plays were coming. You still got to execute.
Yeah.
The argument for a lot of people using PEDs,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, you can take whatever you want, but you still got to hit.
Right.
You
Right.
still got to field. You still got
Right.
to throw. But think about what they're called: performance enhancing.
My belly hangs out way more than it should. Shout out to Big Brain, but obviously catching is a position that's kind of like football wrapped into baseball, and so I do admire our youngest for her ability to just roll with the punches and be tough.
Yeah. Well, the boys are pretty good athletes. At least baseball, of course. You know, I've seen them play a bunch. They're on the same team as my kids. So I assumed you were gonna say maybe something related to baseball.
Again, I'm the old man, very crusty old man about fundamentals, and they don't want to listen to me because I'm their dad, and I think that's pretty consistent across the board. I wish they got speed or something from me, like maybe young Brady gets from Pack. But yeah, I love the fact they play the game. It's just, I think it's tough. I think Ted Williams had a cup of coffee as a coach for the Washington Senators. Shout out to the now Nationals. And he was a terrible coach because he couldn't really get to the players because it came so easy to him. I am not Ted Williams, just saying that with a younger group of kids, it's hard for me to put myself in those shoes. So Big Brain is instrumental in saying you got to start somewhere. But yeah, I love it. All the kids frustrate me. but I have to constantly remind myself that this age is so awesome because they're just having fun and everything's like earth-shattering. As soon as they figure out where first base is, it's like
there's a happy medium
amazing.
there because as many of the listeners know, I umpire my
an
spare time.
umpire, yeah.
And
tell me to be
one
quiet.
of the last games that I had a team that was full of potential all-stars for the pitching machine league, whatever y'all call that league. And the other team had people doing cartwheels in the outfield, and
Right.
a couple batters that did not want to stand in the box with the pitching machine. So there's a happy medium there. Anyway, just wanted to share that.
Big Finch, I don't, do you have kids?
I don't.
You don't? Okay. What trait do you want your kids to get from you? How about that?
Awesomeness.
Yeah, tall.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You
Well,
just read my mind, Pat. Go ahead.
If I had to pick an attribute from me, I would say I'm pretty level-headed. Would you agree with that?
I've talked way too much, but yes, he is.
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty. I'm very reserved.
Yeah,
I
and
think.
in this day and age, especially, that's something that's missing.
Yeah, I
with
think
the
it's
majority of people. It seems they're very quick to overreact.
Yeah.
Very quick to jump to conclusions. So I think that's a really good attribute to pass along.
Yeah.
Can I get some of that?
that or the height.
Yeah.
My wife
That wouldn't hurt.
You know, I'm 6'5". My wife is 6'2".
Oh,
man.
yeah.
So
Dr. Finch.
we'll probably have some, 6'8", 6'9", but
It'll
probably,
be that or midgets.
Yeah, but
it'll be.
they'll probably end up like
Little people bad.
yeah.
The vertically challenged, thank you. No,
But
I love it.
they'll probably end up like painting or
Yeah, that's right.
playing the piano or something, which would be perfectly fine. I would much rather them get more of my wife than me. She's so intelligent. A women's health doctor. Very, very accomplished in her field. So
Man,
I would hope that they would get more from her.
Well,
than
you
that.
fit in here because
I was
all of
just
our
gonna
wives
say.
are
Yeah.
So this is
way more accomplished.
several weeks in a row we've had a lot of mangevity in here, as Sheriff likes to say, and every guy that has been in here has married up.
Yep.
And I think you'd probably be.
Yeah, so we're smart guys.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
right.
yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Maybe that's what we need
That's
to
a
do. Maybe this
reflection
needs,
on us.
Yeah,
How intelligent we are.
that's
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
Podcast on advice on how to marry up.
Yeah, how to marry up.
We
All
got
right,
it.
let's
What
see.
you got, Pat? What about your?
Oh,
You're young.
well,
Yeah.
I guess I would say, well, Sheriff alluded to it a minute ago. Brady is a fast
Oh
young
my
boy.
God.
And,
Crazy fast.
And growing up, not so much now, I'm old and slow, but growing up, I was always a pretty fast runner. So I would say he got that from me. And shout out to the Sheriff. He was just talking a minute ago about how, sometimes the kids frustrate him and it's hard for him to put himself in their shoes when he's trying to coach them up or give them advice. I will say, last game of the season, Brady's at bat, Sheriff pulls him to the side.
Craig's fine.
Anyway, Brady swings with his arms, never puts his hips, never puts his legs into it. Craig gave him up some quick coach job before his at bat, and Brady listened somehow and made the best contact he made all year.
Good.
Hit a triple, an actual triple, not like a single and a
Yes.
bunch of throwing errors.
No, this was not an 8 and under triple. This was a legitimate
Nice.
top spin flame line drive down the left field line.
So,
and
yeah.
he's obviously can fly. But yeah, that's what I love is I don't have a clue what they're going to actually retain, and I'm sure Lee has that experience, especially when he's behind home plate with the young
It's
guys.
dangerous in that age.
And
Back there.
obviously
I'm back there dodging for my life because
the young people, because you do have some girls on the team. Shout out to some girls that are really good, but yeah, it's that one little golden nugget that's just going to kind of register in the back of their brain, and yeah, that's all Brady.
Yeah.
That's just me faking it till I make it, and him actually
Well, it
getting
worked.
something out of it.
It worked. No, he listened and I attribute a large portion of that successful at bat to that coaching up you did for him real quick. And then my daughter Millie, she dances. She's a really good dancer. I'd like to say she got her rhythm from me, but that'd be a lie.
You got the tendons though.
She I think to me she looks more like me than Brady does in the face. So I'd say maybe some more of the physical attributes.
Hey,
I don't know.
they gotta get somewhere.
All right. So I'm gonna move on. We spent a lot of time on that question, but it was good.
Millie is awesome. Our daughters dance together, and she is a studette.
I appreciate it.
I'm putting my microphone down.
No. Well, pick it up because I'm excited for this question.
Oh,
This
Oh,
is
is this it?
no. Well, okay, yeah,
We're going there now.
we'll get this one out the way.
This might be an hour long.
This one comes from Big Brain herself, and it's specifically for the sheriff. It says, "Ask the sheriff." So, sheriff, how do you wipe?
Can we open this to the floor so that I don't absolutely get killed
You're gonna.
I didn't know there were options.
with our 13 listeners?
Yeah.
I didn't know there was options. It's got to be a story behind it.
Yeah, I know.
I wasn't going to answer this, but Viking Chris at the Halloween party had my back, which is a very counterintuitive behavior for him. He's normally trying to tell me I'm fake, and I talk fake, and I walk fake, and I drive fake, and I shoot fake. But anyway, yeah, Big Brain's alluding to the wiping till you bleed to make sure that you are clean. And then there's also a standing half squat, very arduous
That's
process.
That's far too complicated.
Yeah.
That's far
Sorry
too
for the
complicated.
mental imagery to the female listeners, but
You need to get with Scott Bobby to get that
Get
bidet
the
action.
bidet.
yeah,
Yeah.
I might have to mix in a bidet with the arduous activity, but I still think that's like my one area of peace. I think all the married men with children.
I think most men probably.
So that's an 18 to 25 minute endeavor where I will be off the radio and you'll just have to wait for my partner of four legs. But I'm putting it all out there tonight. But yeah, I think she's alluding to, and I'm guilty as charged, the how do I say this? The fundamentals to which I do it mechanically, and then the fact that I'm going to wipe about 37 times.
Goodness.
The wet wipes are huge.
So I was.
They are.
I'm glad you said that.
I'm a Cottonelle guy.
Yep.
And for me, it's dry, wet, dry. Right. Clean it up on the front end. Some soft moisture in the middle, and then you finish it on the back end.
That is some solid life advice.
Short and sweet, man.
That's a good friend right there
the wet
jumping
wipes.
on the grenade with me.
The wet wipes are crucial.
Yeah, I'm glad you
Gotta
brought
have
it
them.
up. I was going to say the same
Gotta have
thing.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sweet. So I have my tools when I go. I've got my VI poo spray.
Shout out.
Shout out. Yeah, you can't be having a stinking up in there.
That's it.
Got my VI poo. I'm very. This is. So
Come on.
I went to Costco and there's like me and this other dude back there talking about toilet paper and how picky we are about toilet
Gotta have
paper.
2-ply.
So I got my VI poo, I got my high end toilet paper, and like you said, I
Nice.
got my Cottonelle wet wipe.
Gotta
So
I think the high-end toilet paper does make a difference because you got
100%.
volume.
It does,
You got volume. You don't want to get it on your hand.
yep.
Like we all have a science to
You
this.
don't have to worry about breakage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
There you go. Good point.
Yeah,
All right.
Big
quick
Finch.
story about my father-in-law, Big Rusty.
Big
Was
Rusty.
Very concerned with making sure his masculinity is portrayed in everything that he does.
Uh-oh.
So he is now a white guy because they make dude wipes. They
Ah,
come in
yes.
black
They do,
packaging.
yep.
And,
That are way more expensive than the
manly.
Cottonelle.
It's
Yep,
manly.
but they're
So,
manly.
It's
I will
discreet.
confirm-
It's discreet
I will
packaging
confirm
too.
Big Rusty, hopefully. I don't know if he listens or not. Probably not. But
Come on, Big Rusty.
he's all about the wipes, but they're dude wipes.
Okay.
Just to be clear, they're not just some flimsy little women wipes.
That's right.
We need the masculinity.
Yeah.
Come on, Rusty.
All right. This is a good question, especially with a couple baseball guys in here. This one comes from repeat listener, repeat question asker, computer nerd Nick, CNN.
CNN.
Shout out, always with a good
Give
question.
me the
And,
story,
and
CNN.
that's right. And this is no exception. So CNN wants to know who, if any of the following, deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. That's Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Pete Rose, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, or Kurt Schilling.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That's
So-
so
that's a
good.
good question.
Yeah, it's a very good
This
question.
could be like an episode.
Yeah,
I think you
yeah,
said
this-
that off air.
Yeah. Sleazy, what you think? Do any of them deserve to be
I'll
in?
give them a few seconds to think about it because I got a pretty easy answer. I think the Hall of Fame is about who transcended the game, who was made big contributions.
Yeah.
And it just was what was going on when these guys were playing. Do I like it? No, I don't. But I think they all should be in the Hall of Fame because at the end of the day, it's a Hall of Fame. It's
you can't erase it. Happened. It's
Yeah.
part of the history of the game. You can't ignore the history of the game. You
Correct.
can't erase the history of the
and,
game.
and you put the whole story in there.
Yes, and you put the whole. You can put your asterisk next to
now
the.
Kurt Schilling, he got canceled.
Yeah. Well.
I feel bad for that dude because
Yeah.
Yeah, then he put his boy Tim Wakefield out there.
Yeah.
he did. He
Yeah.
did a bunch of bad.
That's all Phil. That's all Phil.
He did a bunch of. He said, for those that don't know, Kurt Schilling is very outspoken and very against the mainstream of media. So if you can decipher how you want to on that, on which way he leans, but he's very outspoken
That
about
was pretty slick right there, Sleezy.
and because writers, which I think is also another travesty, that they vote on this stuff, and so as you see, the big market team, the Yankees especially, get a lot of love from the Hall of Fame because of the number of writers that pass through there covering. So, anyways, he ticked them off, and he's for his era one of the best pitchers ever, and he doesn't stand a chance to get in from them anyway.
Yeah. Credit to him for doubling down, though. He did not. They did not push him down apology road. They pushed him the other way. But I'm just giving him credit as a man.
Well, let me ask
Don't
this.
cancel me.
So most of those are PED guys, with the exception of Pete Rose. Do you view Pete Rose differently since he bet on games that he?
Go ahead, Finch.
Was Kurt Schilling a PED guy?
No.
I didn't think so.
Well,
he went to the congressional hearing.
But he never got accused of
I think he was like
being saucy, right?
not that I
I
would
don't think he did.
he was like a fringe. But to y'all's point, that was like, who's put, to me that's like asking who, like the spider tack thing here recently with the foreign substance, like that was what everyone was doing, and that upped your RPMs. And to me, I understand this is a stretch, but like spider tack is a PED. It made the ball spin faster. Like that is, I cannot say it any better than you are Pack. That's what was going on in the game at that time.
rampantly.
Just shooting from the hip. I mean, this is just my opinion. I respected the guys that played the game the right way.
Yeah.
The rules were the rules, and I don't think just because that's what everybody was doing that to me that's not a legitimate excuse. I mean, Kurt Schilling had 2 championships? Arizona, Boston.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
So 2 different teams, 2 championships. In my opinion, again, I think one of the best pitchers that we got to see throw in our lifetime.
Over 200 wins, which is the new.
Yeah.
The new
300.
Yeah, so, had good numbers, had the rings to go with it. And then obviously Pete Rose,
Charlie,
arguably the greatest hitter, one of the greatest hitters of all time.
Yeah, 100%.
And, I don't think that his off the field issues affected what he did on the field.
No.
At all.
That's a good point.
So I think if you got to make an argument for somebody, it's got to be him and Kurt Schilling.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. And another point to that whole steroid thing is that I think it was a great example with Fred McGriff. I mean, 494 home runs, and he couldn't get in from votes. He had to get in on the veteran committee.
Yeah.
And he, by all looking at him, obviously we don't know what he did, but by looking at his body and how he regressed as he got older, as we all should, did not use performance-enhancing drugs or steroids, and so it cheapened his. His 494 home runs was not looked at, I don't think, fairly because he was with those other guys that hit so much. So, it affected a lot of people's livelihoods. I think I've heard some other former players talk about how mad they were when they found out people were doing all this because they were trying to do it the right way, struggling to make rosters, and these people were, quote-unquote, cheating and taking jobs.
Yeah, but the people we named right now, yes, were cheating, but they weren't taking anybody. Barry Bonds was Barry Bonds before the
he was an all-star before.
Right.
Oh,
he's a 30-30 guy.
Yeah, he's what Ronald Acuna is now from the left side.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting argument, though. So you can look at Nelson Cruz, who retired after this season.
The boomstick.
Yeah, he obviously has been on HGH or something. He was tied to a lab and then continued to get better as he got older. So he's doing something. You can argue that he's taking a roster spot from a young guy who's been through testing doesn't have the money that Nelson Cruz has to do the same things. I'm projecting all this stuff. Obviously, we don't know.
Well, he's like 42 years old too.
Yeah, and he at 40 years old, he's hitting 45 home runs. I mean, that's not natural.
Right.